What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Console, the podcast that mainly focuses on the game, everything about the game, the ins and outs, the ups and downs. My name is LuigiDini. I am your host, and I am very grateful to be joined today by Brieeanah. Which is also Select Pumpkin 66 over on Twitch. Brieeanah, how are you doing today?
I am good today. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to obviously have you on, and I'm excited to talk about our game of the hour today, Red Dead Redemption 2.
I am excited to be here. This is a really cool game, and I am really excited to share my love for it.
Awesome. So we might as well just dive right into it. So obviously, Red Dead Redemption 2, 2018 action adventure game, developed and published by Rockstar Games. Um, as it is one of the most well-known action adventure games out there, can you bring us through your early memories of playing this game and why it became so special to you?
Yes. So I've played Rockstar games since I was very young. Probably shouldn't have been playing it at like 5 years old, but I've played Rockstar, and so
Same.
I've always loved Rockstar games.
Yep.
And my brother played the first game, which is actually the Red Dead Redemption 2 is the prequel to the first game.
Okay.
So I never played the first game. I will admit that. I have never been able to because I don't have it, but I will get it soon. My brother was telling me about how Red Dead Redemption 2 was going to be like the next big game, and I was so down for it. So I started playing it the day it released in 2018 in the fall. I in my earliest memory playing it, my brother and I, we were on an Xbox party because you couldn't play it online yet. That
Mm-hmm.
came out a year after the game was released. So we were on a party doing story mode, and it just became a routine after work every day. We'd get home, we'd play it, and that I was freshly out of high school, I want to say. So
Nice.
it was a really fun time. It was good memories playing that, and I very much cherish it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime that any game, and even this one, can bring a family together, and you have a routine like that, and you have the same love for that as someone you love, you just have, I feel like you just have a little bit more fun with it.
Oh, exactly. Games are so much better when you have friends and like family to play with.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Bree, with that said, Red Dead Redemption 2, like you said, is the prequel of the initial Red Dead Redemption. Um, the critics out there, when it came to Red Dead Redemption 2, pretty much when you look across the board, IGN, all the big players that rate games out there rated this at the lowest a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10, a 4 out of 5. It got like the highest of accolades, and really it was probably because of all the work that got put into it. Um, Red Dead Redemption 2 has a story and has a very in depth gameplay. Can you take the listener on a tour of what the game has to offer in regards to that gameplay and, the story behind it as well?
Yes. So Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place in 1899. It's about 12 years before the original Red Dead Redemption. So this is 12 years of events that happened between what we knew. So they gave us the what the fans wanted. I think the fans wanted to know like what happened before Red Dead Redemption 1. And so they gave us this game which is really cool, and it takes place in 1899, and Arthur Morgan is the main protagonist, and he
Okay.
is the character that you play as. Stuff goes south in Blackwater, and if anyone's played the first one, you will always know something happened in Blackwater. We
Okay.
don't know what, but we know something bad went down. And so the gang is on the run, and they went up to the snowy mountains, and they're losing people, people are missing, and that's basically how the game starts out. You have to go hunt for one of the gang members that is missing. You do find him, and that is actually John, who is the main protagonist in the first one. And so you're in the snowy mountains for a couple days, and you have to wait for the snow to melt down before we all can leave. And they end up picking up a lady on the way that the O'Driscolls, a rival gang, had taken over her farm, and so they end up taking her in to the gang and helping her because all the gangs are pretty bad around there, but the one that Arthur's in with Dutch and everyone, they're not so ruthless to the point they're just gonna go after every person they see. They do have morals. They're
Mm-hmm.
they're not bad, but they're okay. They're
Right.
one of the better gangs in the game.
Okay.
So once the snow melts, they all go to New Hanover. Which once you get to New Hanover and complete the missions, you know how in Rockstar when you're playing the games, the missions will kind of just keep going and going and going
Yes.
in the
Yep.
beginning. So once you get through that, when you're New Hanover and you're done with those missions, the whole open world, you can explore the entire map at that point,
Oh,
except
okay.
for Blackwater. That is the only place that you cannot go in the entire map.
Okay. So,
So,
yeah, just to clarify, just for everyone who's following. So, you
yes.
open up and you have to do a certain amount of missions before you get to that open world aspect,
Yes.
but you still can't go to this one place where, quote unquote, something happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something happened.
Gotcha.
Something went south there, and honestly, I hope if they make a third game, which I've heard it's in the works, so I'm hoping that's true. I hope it goes over what happened in Blackwater. That
Right.
would be the coolest thing ever. Full circle story.
Yeah. I mean,
But
with Rockstar games, they take a little while when it comes
yeah,
to creating their games,
hopefully.
but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So they get to New Hanover and they find this little place to live, and they have to keep a like down low. They have to be quiet. They can't be found by the Pinkertons. The Pinkertons are like detectives, like the FBI, if you say.
Okay.
They're gonna find you.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pinkertons are looking for the gang, and the gang is hiding. And throughout the game and whatnot, there's a lot of events that happen. I don't want to spoil a lot for anybody that wants to play it. So, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Hmm,
I'm sure you can give the listener a little bit of a crumb to
a
gnaw on.
little bit,
A
yeah.
little bit of a crumb's
So
fine, I'm
they,
sure.
a little bit. They stay in New Hanover for a little bit, and there happens to be a shootout in Valentine.
Okay.
And so after that, the Pinkertons get wind of them and they have to leave. When they are looking for a new place to live, they end up finding this German couple who needs their help.
Mm-hmm.
And so the gang ends up helping them. And in return, the German couple actually gives Arthur gold, which is, when I first played through, this was the first time I ever saw gold in the game.
Oh,
That
okay.
was really cool. So the German couple leaves, and then we take over their camp, and that is in Rhodes. So in Rhodes, there is two families, if you say, that are very rich: the Braithwaites and the Greys,
Okay.
and they're like fighting. They're like rivals. It's like Romeo and Juliet. The families, the gangs, they're like going. The families are going against each other. It
Got
reminds
it.
me of that.
Okay. That makes sense.
And so they're there, and there's something about gold. Like there's just like the families are hiding something, and so the gang wants to know what it is because they're nosy, and Dutch wants money.
Sure.
Dutch is
Anything that's being hid has something of value. So that, of course, that makes
Dutch,
sense. That adds up.
oh yeah, Dutch is the gang leader. So in the beginning, he doesn't seem so bad, but as the story goes on, he gets a lot worse and a lot more
Mm-hmm.
greedy and a lot more angry.
I was gonna say, well, greed will
He,
do that to you, I'm sure.
mhm, it will. And the camp actually has a camp rat that outs everybody.
Okay.
So that's where everything starts to go south, and that is Micah Bell, the most hated character of the game, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He is a horrible character, and I will leave him in Strawberry until I literally have to go get him. I will not pick him up.
I was gonna say, I feel like everyone in every game that you ever play, there's always that one character that everyone can't stand. I mean, I obviously this is no, it is a comparison because I'm making the comparison, but like obviously in every game that I've played, there's always one character that you just dislike, you don't want to play as, you don't want to play near. Like that's my Slippy when it comes to Star Fox. That's my Mallow when it comes to Super Mario RPG. So trust me, I get it. I get it very fully.
The Slippy hate is real though.
It is. It's very real. It's you can only whine, complain, and be useless so much in an R wing until someone gets upset with you. But that's aside from the point.
Yeah, right. So there's Dutch actually goes rogue in the game, and he ends up like murdering somebody, and in retaliation of that, Abigail, John's girlfriend or wife, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's his girlfriend,
Yep.
she gets kidnapped.
Okay. Yeah.
And Arthur has to go save her. Arthur has to go save everybody. He's always the one saving everyone. He
All right.
saves Abigail. He saves Jack, Abigail's son.
Sure.
He saves John. He Arthur is like, yeah, he's the savior of the game. I feel like he saves everyone, and eventually, and he has tuberculosis, so
Oh. Okay.
he's got a lot going for him here.
So he's got some stuff going on for sure.
He really does.
So you play as Arthur. I just want to dive into this character a little bit. So
Yes.
Dutch is the gang leader, but
Yes.
Arthur is the one you play as, and he's kind of like the savior, the hero of the game. Is
Essentially, yeah.
so
But it
is
really can
yeah.
go however you want it to.
Okay. So if you dive
So
into that a little bit, if you could.
yes, so there's something called low honor and high honor. You can choose your Arthur to how your Arthur is or who your Arthur is. You can make him be a really, really bad man, or you can make him be a really great guy. Yes, he will still go save Abigail and Jack when they're kidnapped. Yes, he will go save John, but his choices and the things he says are different if you have low honor versus high honor. I have never once played as low honor because I know the ending and I can't bear to watch the ending low honor.
Interesting.
I'm too attached to the character.
Hey, that's fair.
So
Very fair.
I play high honor
There you
every
go.
time.
I'll say you take the high
But I've
road, Bree.
seen,
You take the high
yeah,
road.
I take the high road. But I've seen like the low honor like missions and stuff, and if you interact with people low honor, and it's brutal. Like
Mm-hmm.
I say he's like a hero for mine because that's how I've made him. But you can make him be a horrible person if you want him to be. I mean, it's a game. It's however you want your character to play. It's not like GTA where you don't really have choices. You just do the mission.
I was gonna
Where
say,
this
yeah,
one, you have choices.
yeah. I feel like with this game compared to GTA, Rockstar made this game a little bit more open ended for you
Mm-hmm.
to like have your choices, have your cake, eat it the way you want. Whereas GTA, although it's the other pillar of Rockstar gaming, it's like the only thing you can really do in like when it comes to GTA 5 is you do the missions and you get to the end. And you could do it as a
Mm-hmm.
couple different characters, but there's still kind of the same ending. It's kind of the you just do missions out of order if you want, and then like you get to the same end game. You know, this game it seems like it's a little more leniency. You can have different, you make different choices, things of that sort, like you said, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool when
Mm-hmm.
when a game is like that.
It really is, and you can choose the ending too. Like, I mean, it's inevitable who dies in the end. That is inevitable and it's unavoidable. But you can choose. Like, I'll just give a little without spoiling who dies because I don't know. I've seen people still haven't played this game yet,
Mm-hmm.
but you can choose to go with John to go get the money, or you can choose to help. Or no, you can choose. Sorry, let me word that better. You can choose to go with John to save him to get to his family, or you can go get the money.
Right.
Those are two choices that Arthur has in the end to go to either side. And I always choose to help John because what's the money gonna do? I want to help John and his family get out of the gang. which, if you've played the first one, you know John never escapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool story and stuff like this. It's a beautiful game too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, with all that then, and we got into a little bit of the characters and all that. You know, 2013 there was a group of game analysts that reported that Red Dead Redemption 2 was one of the most expensive games to create and develop. You know, since you are such a big fan of the game, the development of it, and you're such an enthusiast of it, you know, what in your opinion warranted such an expensive game?
I solidly just want to base it off the graphics alone.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many differences. I've played a lot of different games over the years, and up until 2018, I had never seen a game with such good graphics.
Right.
This was the first game I ever played where the trees like they moved right. You can see the features on the people's skin. John's scar that he got, it's so detailed, and like the guns, they're the detail in them, and the animals. Like if you are in a gunfight with somebody and you shoot their arm, like GTA, they'll just go down or they'll just kind of move and then they'll keep doing it.
Right.
On here, the graphics, it's so much different. Like you see the everything that like it does to them, if that makes sense.
No,
Like
100%.
trying to keep this like somewhat PG because I know it's an R-rated game, but I don't know. I don't want to say anything like
No, yeah,
super.
I mean, because we're obviously we're recording, and you know
Yeah.
it's for the podcast in general is for made for, you know, not necessarily everyone. Like there's obviously a intended audience warning, so like you can go into detail if you'd like.
Okay,
Don't
perfect.
by all
Sorry, I just
means
wanted
go
to
for it.
make sure. So basically, if you shoot somebody, their arm will literally blow off, and you'll see like their limbs and like the tendons and everything. It's really cool,
That's detailed.
and like
That is pretty
it's very,
detailed.
and that takes a lot of money itself. And then if you look in the night sky, I don't know if you've played this game much or, but if you look in the night sky, the stars and the moon, it's just so beautiful.
Hmm.
And then the sunsets, it's just it baffles me that something can look almost like realistic. Like it looks, certain parts of it look so real. And maybe it's just my TV and my console too helping with that, but it looks amazing. And there's different things like you can do like the dead eye, which that lights up the animals and stuff,
Hmm.
which really helps. You know, I that it lights up the animals and people, and like you can see more in there with if you're in like a really brushy area. So they put a lot into this game, especially the horses. I don't know if you noticed this or if you've seen videos of it, but in the cold, the male horse's ball sacks will shrink, and it's really funny. I just point that out because
Yeah, they
it is
really went into detail on how
really
what
really detailed
happens to
on
the
that.
male. Yeah.
It's
That's
so
funny.
funny. Like I never realized that until I was sitting there because I'm not just gonna watch, but I just noticed it one day and I was like, wait a minute. Okay, there's just so much detail to the game. It's no wonder. I'm surprised it took them 8 years and not longer. I mean,
Right.
they because the first one came out in 2010, so
Right. Well, you got
eight
to.
years to get this out. I mean,
It is a while, and like, you know, I when I was obviously doing my research on this, you know, I was thinking like the same thing. It's like it took a while. Like that's a 8 years is a long time, but at the same time, like you got
mhm,
to think about the time period as well. Like we're now how many years? 6 years removed from 2018. It's
mhm,
like, you know, something that was done between 2010 and 2018 is totally different now, you know, tech wise, graphics wise, audio wise, to what it is now. You know, so if, you know, we fast forward the game the 8 years later, it could have taken a shorter amount of time just because of how advanced. But maybe we don't get to a point to this point of technology without in video games without Red Dead Redemption 2 and the time it took, you know?
yeah. I'm just surprised it took 8 years and not longer,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, for how well it was made.
Yeah, and just wanted to circle back. So one thing that you mentioned when it came to the graphics and things was like the scenery, the setting. When I was looking at reviews, because I was obviously blown away with how many 9 out of 10s, 9.5 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s that this game got. Every time you would read a review on this game, it was about how it looked. It was about, you know, how the horses looked, or how the characters looked, or how, the open world itself looked. It, like, you really, you got to tip your cap to Rockstar in regards to that, because a lot of times, you'll play a game and it's like, oh, the character is so developed, the character looks so great, the character is like moving so smooth, but then like you'll turn the corner in I'm so used to saying levels, but like you turn a corner on a level and it's like you see like this pixelated crap and you're like, why is that like that? But like
Yeah.
this game, it just seems like every little minute detail was taken care of, and like that's all you see in these reviews is just like the open world is so beautiful. The open world is so detailed, so amazing. I'm sure that's how you see this as you've been playing it for all these years.
Oh, for sure. And another thing on the open world is another. I know I keep comparing it to GTA, but it's a Rockstar game, so it's an
No,
easy
yeah, it
comparison.
is the comparison for sure.
So you know how in GTA like there's construction and stuff and the houses never get built. You just see this
Yep.
house under construction for 10 years, you
Yep.
know? I mean, maybe that's just LA because I know it's Seattle, but it's like that. In Red Dead, you can see them progressing
That's
as they
cool.
build the house.
Yeah.
You
That's
They progress as they build railroad tracks and you can help them.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
that's
one thing I didn't go over was the random missions you can encounter.
okay.
You can play this game 100 times and you will run into something different every game. Every
Yeah.
gameplay, you will see something different. And there's so many random encounters with people, animals, just random things that you can see. It's so cool. Like, I've put probably thousands of hours into this game and I still haven't seen everything to this day.
Yeah. And I mean that's what makes a game so special and so timeless is that like down the road you just keep finding new things.
Yeah, 100%. It's so cool to just keep seeing new and new things, and I'm really happy with Rockstar for doing this game and giving us a second one and giving us more of the story that we wanted, because I mean I didn't play the first one, but it makes me want to play the first one now.
Mhm.
I just can't really get past because I watch videos. I can't get past the graphics,
Yeah, no, 100%. And
and I also don't have the game.
yeah. And with that open world aspect to it, and I feel like so many games now, and like this is going to come off as a weird comparison, but these are like obviously GTA is something like I'm very enthusiastic about because I've spent so many hours on it. But like that's semi open world. It is open world. But like
Mhm.
even like the more recent like Pokemon games, like Pokemon Arceus, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, those open world aspects. I feel like now that we're down the line a little bit more in gaming and like advancement things like that, like open world has still become and still is so interesting because it just you get to as the gamer you get to be more creative.
Mhm. Yeah, I love open world games. I've never played any of the Pokemon open world games, but I did play Far Cry quite a bit, and their open world's pretty fun. But the Red Dead the Red, gosh, I'm sorry, the graphics in Far Cry. When I see them, I immediately just jump back to Red Dead because it's the Red Dead graphics are unmatched.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, open world games are the best though. It's a great way that gaming's going. So you were right; it does offer more creativity and more like it gives us more things to do and like express our gaming style.
Yeah, definitely. And just obviously circling back to earlier in this conversation, the fact that like this game was published, it was you were able to purchase it in 2018, and it did have those options for you to be creative. is kind of what makes Rockstar
Oh, my
so
computer.
special, you know?
Yes. Sorry, my computer just all of a sudden went down. It's we're good now. Sorry.
Okay, no, you're okay. You're fine.
What you said, I am so sorry. Everything just went black.
No, no worries. All I was gonna say was, or what I was saying was, Rockstar is so special because they kind of grasp the aspect of putting, that those choices in Red Dead Redemption 2, 6 years ago. Like now, like people have obviously suggested it for other games, but you were able to make your own story 6 years ago with this game, which I really, based on what you told me, based on what I've seen, it's like that's really the wrinkle in this game that makes it so great.
Mm-hmm. It really is. Like I've played a few times and like I've done different stories. Not I've done different run throughs, doing it a different way. Because the first time I played it, I was so hung up on the story that I didn't explore any of the beauty of the game. And so my second playthrough, I went through and I actually like took my time to complete the game and started looking around and really taking in the beauty of the game because I was so hyped up just to get this story going. But it's really a great game and how like you can your character. I still have my character as John because in the end you can actually play as John, which I don't like, but it's okay.
Well, it seems like you've gotten a ton out of this game, which is great. What I do love to ask everyone who I've had on, everyone who I will continue to have on console to console, is although you are an enthusiast and you love this game, is there anything that you wish was different about it, whether that was on your initial run through or now 6 years later? Is there something in this game that you wish was different, or that they
There's
could or
actually
that they could improve upon?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Actually, there is. So I'm gonna compare it to the first one. In the first one, if your horse is running, you can jump onto your horse. They took that feature away in the second one. You can't do that. And I would love it if my horse was running and we're running from something, I could just jump on her and just book it. But instead, she has to stop, let me get on, and then I can go. I don't.
Interesting.
I wish that I could just jump on the horse as it's running like the first one. And then the second thing is another feature that they had in the first one, and I can see why they took it out. Whenever you'd skin an animal, the blood would splatter onto the screen, and I always thought it was a
Nice.
cool feature.
I thought
And they
it. I
don't
think it
have
is
it.
too.
Yeah, they don't have it in the second one. I do like that they took away. So this is another difference. The first one you can skin horses, and I didn't like that. You don't
Mm-hmm.
you don't get to do that in this one, which is
Okay.
nice. And other than that, I wouldn't change anything about the story because the story is so perfect itself. I mean, I wish that a couple characters didn't have to die, but it is what it is. It's the Old West, it's gang times. I mean, there's gonna be deaths, it's gonna happen, it's inevitable. But as far as like the horse goes, I would love it if they would let us just jump on the horse as it's running. That would make my day.
I love it. Yeah, and it's funny that you can't do that because, well, first I just want to mention I love how you went with a very specific detail of the game. Just because, like, my last guest, Teeks88, when we were talking about Super Mario Brothers 3, he went very detailed on his answer too. I love that you did the same exact thing and went with two very specific details because that just shows how much you truly are a lover of this game. You know, I just find it I find it so funny how, like, with that aspect that you just told us, like in GTA you could jump on cars, like you can, like, a
Yeah.
car can be driving, you can literally jump on it. But in this they don't let you jump on the horse.
No, it's weird. They don't let you get on it. I don't understand it. It's just maybe it's just something they didn't think that we liked from the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Which I never fully played the first one. I just played it like I played it a little bit, just enough to know like the mechanics and whatnot, but never the like story. I didn't. I only played like one mission at a friend's house, but it just baffles me how they did that and they just never brought it into the second one. It'd be so cool if they did, even in an update. Just oh hey, here we updated your game.
I'll say a little patch or part of a DLC or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe down, But yeah, I hope for all Red Dead Redemption 2 fans that rumor of the next chapter comes out.
Hope so too.
Yeah. But Brie, obviously, this was a lot of fun. This conversation was great. Where can all the listeners out there find you? If you want to drop a little bit about you yourself being a content creator, please do so. Just tell us where we can follow you, where people can watch you, and all of that.
Yes. All right. So I am on TikTok, long as TikTok stays TikTok. It's under Brieeanah, and you'll link it in the caption thing
Of course,
or
it,
whatever.
it will be
Okay.
there. Yeah, so it'll be in the caption for anyone listening. It is in the detailed caption below as well.
Don't have to spell it. So yeah, it's under Brieeanah for TikTok, and then I am Select Pumpkin 66 on YouTube and Twitch.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's my little thing on there. I play it's like Stardew. I play obviously Red Dead, GTA, and then I play a little bit of Disney Dreamlight and Sims in my occasional like downtime. I'm very variety gamer. I play a big variety. There's probably not a game that I wouldn't play. I like all types.
love it. Yeah, it's honestly the variety way is the way to be. It just keeps the viewer wanting more, and I just by my own experience of watching you, it's always a great watch. But
Yeah.
Brie, I appreciate you obviously spending the time with us today, talking Red Dead Redemption 2. For all of our listeners out there, for myself and Brieeanah, that was our episode 5 of Console to Console. Our next episode, we will be talking about GoldenEye 007 on Nintendo 64. But for all the listeners out there, it has been a fun episode. It has been a fun listen. We love you, we appreciate you, and we hope you have a great listen.